Now we will be discussing the best movies of 2011. I'm going to start off with X-Men First Class.
A new species is being born. Help me guide it.
I felt as though it was good because it introduced many characters that were left out of the first series. I felt that the series needed a revamp after the disastrous X-Men Origins Wolverine. I thought this movie was brilliant. They told the story well. They brought in so many new characters. They introduced them perfectly. They got to the origin story of Professor X and Magneto, developed that well. Michael Fassbender's performance as Eric Lensher, also known as Magneto, was 10 times better than Ian McKellen ever did in the originals. He brought much more personality to the role, and that's why I thought X-Men First Class was deserving of a spot on my top 5 of 2011.
All right, my number 5 film of 2011 is actually Source Code with Jake Gyllenhaal and Michelle Monaghan.
7:48 this morning, a bomb exploded on a train outside of Chicago, killing everyone on board.
This is a very well-crafted thriller. It can be confusing at times, especially once you get into the meaty heart of the film, and the ending is a little bit confusing, a little bit of a double-edged sword, because you get it the first time you see it, and then the next time you see it, it has a different meaning. So it's one of those films where you go back and watch it multiple times, and you'll still be a little confused, but thoroughly entertained, and that's why it's my number 5 movie of the year.
Number 4 goes to Moneyball.
There are rich teams and there are poor teams. Then there's 50 feet of crap. And then there's us.
Moneyball is essentially the David versus Goliath of sports films. You have the $39 million payroll of the lowly Oakland Athletics versus the top of the league payroll, the $150 million of the New York Yankees. I thought it was Jonah Hill's performance, his quiet, confident performance as Billy Bean's assistant in the movie, that really sold the movie. Of course, we all know Brad Pitt is going to be good, because he's proven to us many times before that he can take on a well-written character. And everything about Moneyball is triumphant in some way. It's a story about the lower teams making something out of nothing. And I can't pass up the chance to put Moneyball on my list for that reason.
Number 4 on my list is actually Hannah, about a 16-year-old female assassin who grew up kind of in the Netherlands in the wintry forest with her father and was trained to be an assassin from birth.
I'm ready.
All you have to do is flip that switch. It tells Mr. Riegler where we are. Only you can get close enough. She won't stop until you're dead. Or she is.
Come and find me.
It's filmed by Joe Wright, who's a very well-rounded director. Knows how to put together a good story, and there's good acting in it, which is surprising from a thriller. Usually it's kind of mediocre acting at best. But Hannah kept me intrigued until the very end, and I wanted to watch it again as soon as the last shot on film had transitioned to credits. I just wanted to watch it over and over again. It intrigued me so much, and the acting is so well performed. And the character that Eric Bana plays as the father, I really cared for his struggle in this film, raising this 16-year-old assassin.
Number 3, for me, is The Help. Emma Stone has been on a tear recently, and The Help is just another film where she shines brilliantly.
These women raise white children. We love them, and they love us.
It's the story of housewives and their struggle, and black women raising white children. And Emma Stone's character of Eugenia Skeeter Phelan decides to write the story, the personal story of one of the women she dealt with, and many women around town. And Emma Stone's character brings a voice to something that had been left undiscussed previously. And I feel The Help does a good job of showing that if one person decides they want to have a voice, it can make major changes worldwide. And I'm gonna flat out say right now that Emma Stone is gonna have one amazing career. She keeps choosing roles of this caliber.
Let's go to the third choice on my list for this year, which was actually Limitless with Bradley Cooper and Robert De Niro.
So, Eddie Mora, you do know you're a freak. What's your secret?
Medication.
This is a fantastic adaptation of Alan Quinn's novel, The Dark Fields, where about a character who discovers a pill that actually increases your brain power and allows you to use all 100% of your brain, which is a good premise for a film, and it's very unique, I will say, and the movie did keep me intrigued, but I found that at times it was kind of slow with its pacing, but overall it's a well-rounded, well-put-together piece of entertainment, and that's why it's number 3 on my list.
Number 2 is going to go to the Rum Diary.
And if the drinking doesn't get you into trouble,
how does anybody drink 161 miniatures?
are they not complimentary? The women definitely will.
Johnny Depp falls into this role with pretty much, he just kind of falls into it with relative ease. It's his second time portraying a character written by Hunter S. Thompson, and there's nothing bad about his performance. The movie itself has Aaron Eckhart as well, and Giovanni Ribisi. But it's not of them that really shined. It was Amber Heard. She was appealing, she looked really, really good, and it's her connection with Johnny Depp's Paul Kemp that keeps the story flowing and keeps their romance blossoming. And so it's, for those characters, as soon as Amber Heard comes onto the screen, you can feel an instant connection. And it just builds, and the ending is probably one of the most realistic I've seen in a movie this year.
Well, number 2 on my list was actually another adaptation of a novel, this one by Michael Connolly. It's called The Lincoln Lawyer.
I need $100 grand up front. I'm working on $5.50 an hour. I take it none of that's a problem? No, I just got lucky.
It stars Matthew McConaughey and a bunch of other well-developed characters that are portrayed by even more well-developed actors. And I found that it is a very well-made adaptation of this great mystery thriller of a novel. And it is a moral dilemma about a defense attorney who has to kind of decide what side of the law he's on. He's been on this one side of the law his entire career, right? And this new case just kind of like makes a mess of this entire perfect world that he's kind of structured for himself and his family and his friends. So that's why it is number 2 on my list.
In a year that featured such blockbusters as Harry Potter and X-Men, it's a little bit odd to go with a small, quiet comedy, but I couldn't pass up the chance to put 50-50 at number 1.
Cancer?
They found it yesterday.
They found it yesterday? Who found it?
My cleaning lady found it in the back of my jeans. Who do you think found it?
A radio writer named Adam figures out, or gets told that he has a rare form of cancer, spinal cancer, and it's his story about how he deals with it. And Joseph Gordon-Levitt is brilliant, portraying the humorous side of Adam as well as the emotionally torn apart Adam. Seth Rogen is also good. Seth Rogen, again, is uncensorable. Allowing Seth Rogen to run free with dialogue and letting him say the craziest stuff on camera has never been a bad thing to date, and 50-50 capitalizes on his chemistry with his castmates, and his chemistry with Joseph Gordon-Levitt is amazing, and they really seem like best friends, and that's why 50-50 gets my number 1 spot. All right, my number 1 spot actually goes to a movie that's fairly well received by critics, although audiences are kind of a little mixed on it. It's Ryan Gosling's new crime drama, Drive.
If I drive for you, you give me a time and a place. I give you a 5-minute window.
But I actually found it very intriguing and a great character piece about this individual who is emotionless in a way. You know, he doesn't really care about anything. He has one goal in life, and that goal is to just be a getaway driver for poor people, and that's what he does with his life. He's kind of given up on having a relationship. However, in the film, that kind of has twists and turns and changes in a way. And the characters in this movie are really, really well thought out. And they really could resemble real people that we all know. You know, there's not one character in this piece of work that I did not look at and say, well, they're very unrealistic. I could relate to each character and their needs and their wants in this film as a whole. And that's why Drive is number 1 on my list of the top 5 movies of this year.
And that has been the very first episode of The Breakdown. Our next episode will air on January 10th.
Thanks for watching, folks. Right now, we're going to leave you with the trailer for The Amazing Spider-Man starring Andrew Garfield. Enjoy.
We all have secrets. The ones we keep. And the ones that are kept from us.